Yeah,
Hello,
we
everybody. We are back with Still Got Questions. This is, I think,
STIL got
four.
questions.
Yeah, episode 4 now. It was pretty
Episode
fun.
4. I
Yeah.
mean, I will say this though. Um, we have both had so much life
What are you doing, Anna?
happen
We
to
just
us.
got started.
I try to catch it. We have had so much life happen to us. I feel like nothing has really changed the vibe, the integrity of our platform, of our show, and our segments, and our friendship, and our bond that is forever growing. This is not water. Nope. Okay. So yeah.
Let's see. Speaking of that, I actually have a question that's on that. So let's like jump right into it.
I bet you I'm gonna laugh so hard if it's like one of my questions. I'm gonna
No
laugh
way.
so hard.
We did that last time too. Okay, so let's see. What are your takeaways from this segment?
Believe it or not, it's like second therapy for me.
Oh,
um, but I feel that same way with all of our stuff that we do because do we uncover a lot of the things that a lot of us tend to think that we already cover with our friends and that we just connect with our friends on a base level, and we we activate a lot of the same values and patterns that we have like buried inside of us, but until you talk about them and bring them back to the surface, maybe dust them off a little bit, maybe reevaluate them, you don't really get to reapply them to your life anymore. And I feel like every topic that we've talked about, I've been able to be like, oh yeah, remember I had this type of grit, or I remember this was like how I saw my friends, or how I saw people, or how I saw myself, or like, fuck yeah, oh, I don't really do that. I really need to reactivate and I need to sit with that and say, okay, can you really honestly say you're living into that value because you just spoke about it, but you can now recognize where you have misstepped in all of those arenas.
yeah. I would
So
say it's been very similar, or at the very least, it's sort of if something has come up where I thought maybe I had an answer to it, but then I go to say it, and it's like, wait, no, actually, hold on. Like it's helped me articulate and break down what I actually would think or how I would answer that question. You know, it's
yeah,
knocking the dust off. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
yeah, like it really makes, getting your perspective that sometimes very just like straight narrow. The map is literally north to south, not northeast, southwest, whatever. It's literally north, south. That's it. It really helps me kind of declutter the perceptions that sometimes can get in the way of my pathway of thinking. Other times it allows me to give perceptions and pathways to thinking that sometimes I think where you're like, girl, you need to go northwest. I don't know why you're trying to go directly south. But I feel like that's the benefit of both that we both kind of bring. So that is my biggest takeaway.
Very good. Very good. Go ahead. What do you got? Did I take any of your questions?
No.
No? Okay, good. What's something you used to believe in strongly but no longer do? Oh my God.
I figured this would be a good one for you because of like, just like, I've had this happen to me so many times. Like, I'm 40. I'm like, I've had so many things where like, I used to believe in, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. I strongly, that's, that goes back to a couple of questions you had before. You asked me when was the last time you were wrong? And something else. There was something else, but it very much touched on this. And I find myself reaching for similar answers. I'm not gonna get like too political about it, but there was my life was kind of unique in the sense that I grew up in a political world from a young age. I dealt with adult issues from a very young age.
Yeah.
Like I've been paying taxes since I was 6. I did my first vote in a presidential election when I was, I think, it was Obama's election, whichever year that was. I don't know how old I was, but I think I was like 12 or something. It was pretty young. And I officially voted under my mom's ballot, but I did the work. So that was like, I can explain that later.
Obama?
Yeah. So it was my mom's vote technically, but she had no, like, she gave me her vote. I did the research and everything and filled out her ballot, and then she took it to the booth. You know what I mean? So like but I was young. I was like 12 or something like that, whatever that was. So I've just been brought up in that world for so long, like ever since I can remember. Most people don't get into politics until they're my age now. I feel like early 20s, like when you go to college. And I just feel like it's always been part of my life. And so I think the answer would have to be feminism. I wasn't a huge, I don't ever think I 100% believed in maybe not, I'm not going to touch first wave feminism, but everything after that, I wasn't like diehard for it, but I definitely passively fell victim to those lines of thinking where it's like there's inequality with men and women now in the 2000s.
Okay.
You know, that's when I was raised, right? So in the 2000s, there were inequalities. It almost like what we were talking about earlier with my last question is you knock the dust off and you go, oh, what is my answer to that really? It's sort of like you get bombarded with a message and things that people say passively and what the media says and what people in your environment say. And it's very easy to just go, well, that makes sense, But then if you don't dive into what that actually means. So I would say in that regard, I've changed radically from when I was a teen into now. Yeah, to put it simply, like I'm actually completely anti-feminism, if you want to call it that. Because it's not what it used to be. I would say first wave feminism had a purpose. It accomplished this. Yeah. And there's no room for it anymore, But I very much fell victim to all of those type of things without the narratives, without realizing them. And then when I finally took a look at it, I was like, oh, this is horseshit. This is nothing. There's nothing here. What are we talking about? It was like that. What about you?
It's a loaded question. For me, it's a loaded statement because the funny thing is I think I'm on that journey now of like what I believe in and what I no longer do. Like I feel like I'm on that pathway now of literally in the room of my beliefs and now starting to clear out shit that doesn't need to be there anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it at 40. So I'm in my closet of beliefs right now, looking through the archives of past, present, future, the shopping list of my beliefs, the receipts of my beliefs. Like I'm just trying to go through it now because it does have such a weight on making room for new belief. And it's making room for the new possibilities that come with just certain changes and adjustments in your life that change your belief system. Because, I think every person can kind of go through this. It's like when you used to believe something that was suitable for you at that time in your life. Like I had to believe that my blood clot and my ulcers were not going to make me stop being who I was or a participant in my life the way that I wanted to be participated in, no matter how much pain I was in. But now that I have not had it, my belief system had to change. Like I don't have to be so hesitant about pools. I don't have to be so hesitant about shorts or socks or walking or anything else like that. So I feel like I'm back in my belief system and being like, okay, what needs to go, what needs to stay.
Yeah. And that's a cop out for all the viewers that we may or may not have on this episode one day. Like I've really watched Brandon. Well, it's hard to say. I can't say that I've seen you evolve in person per se, because we literally
But evolvement doesn't need to be seeing a person evolve does not need to be in person. I feel like just like we can watch the universe change and not be one with it, we still know that it is evolving. So I've
seen that from you. I have seen huge steps of growth and change, and it's in your situation, it's hard to answer that question. And I very much see that you were going through your closet and sorting through old clothes. Do I wear this anymore? Do I even like it anymore? Is that even my style? I don't know. Toss. I missed that one. That's been on my life. Like, I get it. 100%.
It's been like that a lot. And then being like, and then the honesty that is required in those beliefs of like you putting on that belief and you're like, this is the wrong size. You know, this is damn too small. Do not try to force, like, do not try to put this on and walk out here like this is your belief system because you look crazy. It's too small. Right. No.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's yeah.
Okay, my turn?
Yes.
This is going to be a callback to the last episode. You asked me what kind of fruit I would be. So this is the interview question I got asked when I was going to be a game master mind, whatever, for an escape room. This was hilarious. You were a kitchen appliance. What would you be?
A dishwasher.
Why?
Because there are so many levels to it. If you try to rush it, I'm gonna leave a mess. If you are cheap, I'm not gonna clean your dishes. I'm gonna half-ass them. If you take care of me and you do it, if you do everything you're supposed to with this appliance, by me, you will have the best dishes you have ever had in your life. Everything will be great. But half-ass it one more time. I will break down. You will have food on your forks. You will have all kinds of shit. I will melt your plastic cups if you do not do it right.
You knew that so fast. I can't even believe. Imagine getting asked that on a job interview, and I had to sit there. Well, you know how I answer questions. Like all the ones that you pose me, and I sit there and I think, and oh my goodness, I can't believe how fast you knew that. But that's hilarious. I think that's so accurate. That's a great answer. Wow. Mine was I came up with this on the fly, but I was like, I'm an oven because I take things that are not done yet and I make them beautiful and delicious and something that everybody loves.
I like that too. we're both appliances of change, cause and effect.
Yeah, right. Well, but if you think about it, that's actually a really good job interview question because everything in a kitchen is about change.
Yes.
Right?
Change or clean or change. Yeah, change. Yeah. Dirty to clean.
Pretty much.
Cooked, raw to cook. Burn to not burn. I don't know.
So the way someone would answer that question actually shows a lot about them. And that was like a stunningly insightful interview question to me when I got that. I was like, oh my God. I think I thought about that for probably a few days after I gave it. And I was like, hey, I like my answer. Okay, your turn. I think that was the fastest 2 questions we've ever done.
I know.
Dishwasher. I love that. Who's someone you trust with your deepest secrets and why? That's tricky. It's probably a tie between my mom, my husband, and my best friend. What do you think about that one? If I had to like really put tally marks to it, I'm not sure.
Percentage tiers.
Yeah, like I'm honestly not sure. It's probably a pretty close tie between those 3 people. Obviously, I think my mom might have to win that one because she lived through some of those with me as a child, as when I was a kid. So I think she wins by default just because she was physically there. But aside from that, oh my God, I don't know. Yeah, either my best friend or my husband. And because I think that's the best place for it. You know, you don't give away deepest, darkest secrets to anybody. So if it's not someone that you would like your married partner, you know, or your best friend, someone that you're might as well be married to, but like you're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like as far as it comes to like how your relationship works, I think those are the only people that deserve your deepest secrets, to be honest. Like I'm not gonna be sharing that with like the deepest ones. Like my boss isn't gonna know that. Even if I'm really great friends with my boss, she ain't gonna know that. You know, stuff like that. Unless she needs to for my employment. But
okay.
like, I got a restraining order. No, but like something like that, obviously. But no, I think it would have to be with the people that it's not so much about would they use those against you. I don't use that as a tool of measuring like should you know that, but it's definitely there's like an essence of safety to it. Like if you know this, is something gonna go wrong? You know, there's definitely that gut instinct part of me that's like I'll use that a little bit as a metric, and in that same frame of mind, it's like if your deepest secret is something that makes you feel that way, what does that say about the material of your secret? That's a little spicy, but that's where I'm at with it. That's what I think. What about you?
Ah,
Yeah,
ah.
you know these.
I'm working on trust because I'm working on trust externally because internally it is very, very damaged and broken.
Mhm.
So it's a hard question to give full comprehension to because I myself had to again go back and be like,
Mhm.
it because it's linked to so many other it's linked to so many other weights of how my life has like played out thus far. So like in my head, I'm like, I even told my therapist when we first started, I was like, I will acknowledge it right now. I have a very difficult relationship with trust right now
Mhm.
because of how my life has played out in the last couple of years. And as I have dug deeper and deeper into it, I've had to realize that it has some external effects, because of how my life as a young adult was, my life as a child was, my life as a newly diagnosed person, like all the things that I had that were very emotionally pivotal and emotionally challenging and life altering were very, very difficult relationships around trust. And I didn't realize how those little tears, those little, what I used to minimalize as little pins into a bigger paragraph of my life, actually were these catastrophic, foundation shattering things. And
Right.
it's now that I'm starting to recognize that I let those things stay small when they were meant to be big.
Mhm.
I did not allow them to weigh what they were supposed to weigh. I told it only had to weigh a little bit because that's all I wanted it to carry at that point in time, instead of just carrying all of it at that moment as it was. And if it was heavy, then you deal with it one thing at a time. But I realized life has just said, okay, well, in reality, what you thought was 2 pounds of a situation was actually a ton, or this was,
Right.
whatever. So now it's more like, okay, now I'm working through each of those weights, one realistically carryable, manageable at a time. And that's the part where, for me, trust is a very weird place around it because it has a lot of weight that I did not originally give it back in the day.
Good answer. Yeah. Well, let me just back the train up. You're also somebody I would, because I realized it didn't mention this. It would be so critical, I feel like, of me to not include you in that circle because I do. It's been an interesting situation where we're also recording every situation, every conversation that we have that gets deep is going on the internet. And there's some things that I would probably tell you, Brandon, that I would not put on YouTube. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
agreed. Same here with me. I feel like we have off air, we have our moments and we have our true vault to vault
yeah,
situations. But I think for the essence of the question, I think it's like,
yeah.
yeah, there are
I,
things that I've just been like, I know she's not gonna look at me like I'm crazy if I just give her
yeah.
this truth. And I don't give this truth to anybody. So boop. Like, but it's again, like you said, it's like one of those safety things. It's like it's not that people don't make me feel unsafe. It's not that situations don't make me feel unsafe. It's not that certain people make me feel safer than the other. It is literally for me in the emotional moment of that exchange, it
Mhm.
has led me to feel like, okay, here's a key. Now, if at any point that key starts to feel like a shock, I'm like, nope.
Exactly. Yeah. But you definitely are one of those people, I feel like, is in that inner circle of trust. It's just it's been like an environment has not quite lined up for us.
We're like, yeah, we're just we have two different we have a house, but two different rooms.
Yeah.
Of where we have, like, in the living room we do this, but in the kitchen we cook this, and people don't always get to know what our recipes are. But y'all can go in the living room and watch TV. So that's kind of what it is.
Yeah. Not to mislead our viewers, you know.
Yeah, it is your turn.
Let's see. I did that one. Oh, okay. So this is a really good segue. That was such a good question. You're into mine. It's so good. Okay, go ahead. I haven't asked yet.
I know, because I feel like we do and we don't.
Exactly. Right. I know. Well, also sometimes I feel like we've been like very prying in your life, at least between you and me. And I mean,
because I feel like your life is happening in front of me, so I'm like, I already know what this girl's doing.
Very open. Yeah. Well, there's gotta be like something, you know. I don't. If not, we can come back. I have got others. We could switch.
No.
Whose alarm is that?
Oh my god. Okay, maybe I got to think about that one, because I feel like I have enough to like where like I told you in the very beginning, I don't let myself become curious about you, because I know that we just kind of like we are literally in every moment exact as we are where we need to be in that point in time. At no point do I feel like we're trying to facilitate some type of journey or destination. We're just in it.
Well,
so
no, it could be even like past. It could be like literally anything. Because I obviously I'm very present with you all the time as far as
and I guess, and I feel like that's for me. I'm so used to understanding people before I involve people, so that way I'm protected and they're protected.
Mm-hmm.
So in this instance, it's like I rather know when the element lets me, when the rhythm is like, okay, this is where the melody is going to take you guys today, and guess what? You're going to learn a new song, a new course to who they are, instead of trying to write their entire melody or their symphony in a moment, versus letting every note happen phonetically. Because I feel like that's what friendships aren't doing now. Is like everyone's trying to get everybody's song, and then all you're doing is remixing that song in every exchange, in every environment that you can get. And I'm like, well, what if that song that you thought was hip hop is really a classical orchestra? And you, instead of you trying to let the notes actually happen in front of you, you're literally interpreting what you hear versus seeing the note as it actually is instead of giving it to you. And then that's their song. That's your friendship. That's the bond versus what you as a producer want it to be.
So no burning questions. Got you.
No burning questions. No.
Okay.
Because I feel like the burning question is what made us to this place. Is like, do we have the space, the bond, the synergy to be in each other's lives in a way that is supportive, healthy, and strong? Yes. That's all I was really concerned about. Everything else we just kind of like, we let happen, and we allow ourselves as individuals to guide them based on who we are as people, and then who we want to be to and for the other person in our life. I don't think it has anything to do with like, again, like I feel like we don't have expiration, we don't have journey, we don't have a map. It is literally a blank sheet of music paper that we've just literally been adding notes. And we've like, it's like when you're learning piano, you don't play the whole song right away. You play a note and repeat it and go and change it and learn, get the rhythm and get the tempo. Everything kind of has to happen. And then when it's done, then it is a beautiful melody that is meant for others to enjoy, learn from, have experiences from, have emotional responses from, and maybe create change. And then that's when they can take that one hook from that melody and make their song. You know, that's how I've been seeing it. So that sounded really metaphorically, but that's how I process it.
Well, if you think of one, we'll pause.
I would put it in there.
Okay. So do you want to go, or do you want me to choose another one?
Was that was your question?
It was, but you didn't answer it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So what about well, how about this one?
Oh,
Amazing thing.
that I still to say that we not only because I felt like we had such a difference, and then when we both were in the dance world, however it was, I was like, what? Huh?
No. Oh, the dancing thing again.
Yeah, it's just one of the things. It was like, because when you hear about when you first hear about someone's like professional path, and then they add in a passion, and then you're like, wait, what? You're telling me you're shooting massive guns and torpedoes and in the military and go, and you're like, oh, by the way, I did ballroom. I did like the sexy ha-cha-cha ballroom. It wasn't like the waltz and the foxtrot. It was in there stuff. So I was like, yeah, I think that's, and then, but it also made me see that you do have a flair of fun and whimsy and power and creativity instead of structure and focus and non-negotiables. It's like, no, she has a creative passion that allows her to have empathy and to feel the music. Because for me, in that moment, as a dancer, as an artist, as a creator, when you can feel something from nothing to something, and it is a feeling that propels you to create, or if it makes you change, or makes you adapt, that is I think that's a power among the creative people. It's a unique gift. It's a unique power. It's a unique talent. It's a unique source to tap into when you have so many other things in your life to be obligated or upheld by. So
it's so funny that you say that in that way, though, because you're like, it was cool that I had this whimsical whatever side, and it was less about the structure and all, because I feel like I go about it the opposite way when it comes to dancing. No, I think on the inside I do, because dancing doesn't come naturally to me, like at all, and it's silly. So I have to apply almost like the martial arts skills, where I have to watch someone do it 1,000 times, and I have to do it 1,000 times down to the lines of the body and the placement of the foot and the length of the step, and then incorporate the timing and like all that stuff, and then learn how to do that, because I don't do solo dancing. So then I have to learn my steps and then do them with a partner, and then see how that changes my balance, and see how that, like, I have to pound this into the ground and tattoo it on the back of my eyelids and do it 1,000,000 times.
That's dance. That's choreography. Like, girl, you're making it sound like this. No, that literally, and I'm pretty sure any dancer that may or may not be watching this, I would take a brand new class and want to burn my feet. I'd want to top them off and get new ones. I'd want to be like, how, you should never have been a dancer. Because, that first class, that new teacher, that new whatever, new technique, all of it is so new to you. And when you're using your body and your brain to try to create a movement or create something that you've never created before, and you've already felt the success of being a creative being and making your body create something more outside of just walking, talking, and da-da-da, there's a lot of pressure, and you put a lot of pressure on yourself. So I remember I'd take a class and then go the next day to that class, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, this was not hard. But it was my body had to catch up. My body had to get with my heart and my brain. All y'all had to get into a meeting and then be like, oh, okay. And that's when I could then perform. That's when I can then be in it. And then that's when I was really I wasn't learning, I was performing, and I was doing.
I guess the difference for me is I feel more raw talent in the martial arts world when it comes to creativity. Like, if you told me, like, here's your self-defense situation, come up with a technique and then teach it to 10 people. I could do that in 5 minutes and it would be successful, and I know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, that wouldn't be hard for me. Where it is, if you asked me to come up with some kind of dance combination on the floor, I wouldn't know what, like, it's not in my body. Like, you know what I mean? Martial arts, it, like, there's more of like the Like it's part of me. It's in there. Dancing is not. So I think that creativity applies to martial arts, ironically, and not to. I gotta learn if there's like, let's just for instance, if there's a finite number of dance moves in the world and whatever discipline I'm practicing, there's 52 cards in the deck. Before I feel comfortable, I have to know and master all 52 cards before I feel like I can do anything when it comes to dancing. You know what I mean?
Well, sorry, they're photographing the house today, so I'm like, oh, around noon. So I was like, I gotta go clean my bathroom. But anyway, we're good. My turn.
How do you think our friendship / relationship has impacted your life? Me. You've definitely it's so interesting to, I think that's what it is. It's just interesting. Everything that we do, every interaction that we have is just so interesting and fun. Regardless of what the topic is, why we come together, what we do, I feel like sometimes you can just kind of get, I want to say like in a not me, sorry, not you, but like people can get into sort of like a one track wheelbarrow rut or a small world or one way of thinking. And then someone else comes in and you can bring in a new perspective, and it's just something that you've never even considered. Like your brain would have never in a million years put that together. And then that's you when you just boop all the time. And it's like, here's this. And it's so interesting. I love it because it challenges the way that I think. And it's also, you're just, everyone's life is so interesting and your life is no exception, you know? So that makes you sound like entertainment, and that's not the way that I mean it.
I didn't. By far, I did not take it as a form of entertainment. I took it as a form of admiration, because sometimes I don't even see my life as something that could even be admirable or reviewed, resonating.
Yeah.
Everybody has these kind of problems. Everyone has these kind of any person. But yeah, that's in my head. That's what I say. Yeah. But it was also one of the things that led to this idea of like, you know, everyone now feels like it's important to tell their story, and everyone has been given this access to tell their story. Mm-hmm. And I feel like just like the same thought process around like the symphony of your life and the symphony mm-hmm. of your connections with people, I think same thing goes with your story. Mm-hmm. Instead of trying to give it a beginning, middle, and end as soon as you start talking about it, sometimes it just has the beginning and the middle.
Yeah.
And I think right now it's more like, how does that begin? What is the writing style? Or what is my author? What is my penmanship to that? How am I going to talk about my beginning? How am I going to talk about my middle? Because my end is my end. I'm not gonna know what that is, but you know, it literally is just the beginning and the middle, and the middle is what leads to people to see an end, not to be told an end. And I feel like that's what I think at least I think we do, and I think how I've now started to realize like what's important about being on platforms like this and having conversations like this, and whether it's on camera or not, like, you know. Everyone wants to be like, I'm telling you my story. And I'm like, well, are you telling me a story? Because a story isn't your life. Stories have beginning, middle, and ends. Yeah. You know, talking about who you are and talking mm-hmm. about your journey instead of your destination, you know, those are the same things. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. No, but I think really it's also just nice to have the opportunity to sort of meander with you mm-hmm. on these different topics. And you know, as much as I'm very opinionated and I might have my stances on things, right?
Yes, and you course correct me too. Like you really do. Like, I mean, as much as I like to feel like I'm a witty, intelligent human being, sometimes I'm reminded that I am not a witty, intelligent human being. And that's so humbling to realize. And it's such an ego gut check that I'm like, oh, thank God someone's punched me in there.
Stop getting my questions before I ask them. Stop it. It's hilarious. Okay, it's your turn. Oh no, it's my turn. Sorry. Where is it?
Where did it go? Oh, right here. There we go.
Ask the question. Hold on. I thought I wrote it in there. You literally took it out of my mouth. What you just said just now.
Oh, I thought
Did I already put that one in there?
I don't know.
Did I ask you about your ego last session?
No.
No. Go. I'm so confused. Hold, please.
Holding.
Code 3. Oh, did I take it out? Oh, I must have. Okay, well, this will be sorry for not having a banner, but this will be just a verbal question. Where do you find your ego not tripping you up, but where do you find your ego rearing its head the most? I can't believe I got rid of that question. I don't know where it went. It's like it disappeared.
In elements of control and non-control, sacrifice, surrender, like in very clear up, down, left, right situations. My ego is so prominent and loud. You know, when I had moments of feeling betrayed, or I had moments of feeling like, do I or don't I? And there were maybe outside things that said this is the right thing and this is the wrong thing, but it's not the me thing. That's when ego would get so in the way. And that's why so much of my time internally to myself, taking more time to like figure things out and better outline who I want to be, where I want to be, why I want to be that way, is because I've had to really be like, ego, there is no middle. It's either this or this. Like, you cannot have this because it is what you want, not what is the right want or the wrong want or the, it cannot. So ego, at least for me, ego has tripped me up because it is so good at helping me self-negotiate. It's like being the best and the worst litigator of the laws of your life. Because I can litigate the right thing, but I can also litigate the wrong thing or the incorrect thing or the damaging thing or the destructive thing. But I also can litigate the desirable thing, the right thing, the powerful thing, the life-changing thing, the meaningful thing. It's just all a matter of what my ego is trying to persuade, and where my ego is. I guess I would say ego is emotionally, internally, externally, environmentally. Those are the things that always trip at my ego.
I think I'm the same, actually.
I differ. I disagree. I feel like your ego has a clear foundational presence, and no environment alters that regardless.
Oh, well, I think that's a side of me you haven't seen yet. But honestly, just because you don't live with me. But yeah, there's because I can bring my marriage into that. There's definitely I'm stubborn, and when I know.
That I know.
When it comes to changing habits, that it's almost like what you said. It's like,
is this a Sierra survival? Is this a Sierra sacrifice, or am I sacrificing it for somebody else's shit? Because like a part of me is kind of like,
no. It's like I'm a master excuse maker,
Oh God. I mean, for me, it is the master excuse, but it's also like just kind of how you talked about activation energy and be like, that's a fucking stupid word. Yeah. It's the same thing around like that. It's like, I'm listening to someone with a problem that I would rather have than my own, and I'm looking at it like, are you kidding me? That's what's hard for you right now.
Well, I mean, but the question is the question. So, I mean, that is what it is. It's when I have a habit, or if I'm doing something in a way that's probably objectively not what should be going on. Like, I could be doing better, but it's not a problem. But I could be doing better. That's where my ego starts.
Yeah. It's almost like you could be skinnier, or you could be more toned if you didn't eat that extra cupcake. But it's not like you're not like.
Yeah. Okay, maybe a little bit more drastic than that. But yeah, like I know what you mean. But like
but there's that self-negotiation that happens. Like you're not like obese, you don't have diabetes, but it still isn't healthy. You know what I mean? Like you're not track star athlete tip top shape, but you're not paralyzed and in the hospital.
That's where it comes up though. There are things that I definitely should fix, and it's not anywhere as like relative, because that's sort of like a relativism argument. But I would say this is more like objectively should change, and it's just I wanted it to be relative, but it's not, and that's the problem.
Yeah, for me, I wanted that, and I can relate to that very stamp of life right now, because just like sometimes you want people to apologize to you the way that you want it, the way you tell yourself in your head. Like I had to really hear something really powerful. Like you're never gonna get the apology you thought of in your head. You may not even ever get an apology. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's important when we are in these moments of relativity that you recognize, like, it's not going to happen the way that you want it to. And it's not going to be as defined, detailed, described, or even performed as you would want it to be. And I am in this constant reminder and battle, and sometimes even defeat, of being like, I thought it was going to be exactly how I predicted it this way, and it totally didn't, and that's devastating, even though I knew it has and has not been that way over and over again. But you just think one element, one micro change of it changed, so therefore the entire system does, and it just never does. And you really just start to get very discouraged, because you want to believe in your own power of belief system and your own inner gifts. But ultimately, it is one of those things where you're just kind of like, you know what? I have to sit in the suck of surrendering it to this type of, it has to be surrendered in that level of saturation, which is not relative to anyone's life, mm-hmm. or the life that you want to have for yourself, or how you see yourself. And that's the part that's always been the part that I think we both are just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Can I just go in the pool that I made? Because the pool that you want me to go sit in,
right,
looks.
I like my pool this temperature. I don't want to go in your.
Yeah, it's like water. I'm still gonna get clean. I'm still gonna do the laps. But why I gotta swim in your nasty ass pool? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like one of those things. And instead of just fighting the fact that it's someone else's pool, the laps mm-hmm. still need to be done. The exercise needs to be done. The water still is gonna be water. It's still H2O. It's just not the H2O that you poured into it. And it's a shitty reality, but it's relative.
I like that metaphor. That was a good one. Okay, your turn. I'm curious.
Here we go.
What's something you're currently struggling with, and how can I best support you? It's so sweet.
And struggle is not, maybe struggle sounds too heavy of a word, but
but I know what you mean. Yeah. God, I almost want to come back to that one. Like, I want, like, you got to come back to the other one. But hold on, let me give it a second. I will say that's an interesting question to ask, because not to like skirt around it, but it's very like to the point. How often do you go up to somebody and you're just like, what are you struggling with, and how can I best support you?
I had a situation yesterday where to protect all the elements of what that is, they got some very difficult realities presented to them, and they were very they hit close to home on both fronts, to me and my past, and to them and their lives and their future. And after even what we do on our show and how we've just dusted off some of the values and behaviors of our lives and choices, I literally went back to, what it really means to be there for someone, and what it really means to show up for them, and how you make them realize, or show them better than you can tell them, or tell them and show them that this is how I'm going to be present with you without making it anything other than about how you can be how I can be there for you as a person, as a friend, as a confidant. So it made me think of our first inspirative idea of why we have STIL. It's like, how are things going on within you?
Yeah. It's a very similar piercing question. Yeah.
And I feel like this is that check-in in those friendships to that question, because this is how you expand on things going on within you, and then, well, what is it that you're struggling with, and how can I be of support? You know.
And the way that I view that question, it's particularly difficult because what came to mind is I don't want to say like compartmentalize people, but I don't hide things away either. So it's like if I have a problem, the person that I feel like can help me with that problem, I go to right away.
Yeah.
And so if there was an issue, you would know. If there was something that I was like, oh my God, Brandon, will you help me? Like if there was something like that, you would know already.
Because you teach me to learn to do that, because I don't do that. I take that back. I have learned the power and problem in not doing that, because I used to just go to anyone.
Oh, yeah.
Or the same person for all different parallels of problems in my life. And it does not work. And it does not serve either.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
That person becomes exhausted, and they don't know how. They're like, I don't know. Like, they become a facility of pause, and then you become procrastinative and paralyzed in problem solving, because you're choosing the wrong people to strategize with. I know when my dad passed away, there was the one of the soothing awarenesses that someone gave me was like, in this moment, I know this is where you would normally go. It will not serve you in this sorrow, so do not do it. And it was the safest thing I could have done for myself.
Yeah.
For me and that person and that relationship.
Well, so instead of like not answering at all, let me at least break down how I would go about thinking this way. So if I were to answer this question, because to be frank with you, I think in all the things going on in my life, you are where you need to be, and you know all my issues, and you've provided support in areas that you're able to. Like I feel satisfied in that space. But the way I would go about thinking through this question is I would think about my life, and I'd be like, okay, where are there issues? Where are there like unfinished emotions, or like things that are just weighing on me? What comes up at 2 a.m? What are some things that keep me distracted when I'm supposed to be focused? And then I'll sort of put those things into categories and see where they fall. And I go, okay, this is something that I'm distracted because of me. Or this is like, I'm obviously not going to, not that we're having issues, but like, I'm not going to go to you if I have a problem with my husband. I'm going to go to my husband. You know what I mean? There's places for things. I'm still grieving over my recently passed dog, but frankly, it's just because you're not here, and that's got nothing to do with you. And there's like that's a good example, right? Because as a friend, I could turn to you and go, "Oh, I'm so sad about my dog," and you could be an ear, but that I don't think that's even what I need right now, because it's
that's not supportive. Like, you don't need that kind of that's not what you need.
It can be if I wanted to, and you just were there to listen, and if that's what I needed at that moment, that would be fine. But like you said, it's not the point, and it's more or less going through life in just those daily routines and seeing the piece missing and being okay with that. And it's not really something that you would have any sort of, it just wouldn't work. And so like I would go down the list like that and see where you would fit in and be like, does that make sense? Like, I don't even want to present you with the problem or something that it would like tie your hands. Like you wouldn't know how to solve, you wouldn't know how to be there for me. Like it wouldn't help either one of us. So that's how I would go through it. I'd be like, okay, where could you, not could be of use, but where would that make sense, I guess. And that's how I would go
Right.
about
And
it.
I feel like that's a great lesson. And I think and this is where I'm gonna just say maybe CTA is in our viewers and listeners, streamers experiences, have you guys realized that you've picked the wrong people for the wrong the wrong problem? It's like in like your job or your career, right person, right job, and then it's like right emotion, right friend. You know, like not every friend is equipped to take on some of all of our weights of our lives. And, you know, do you have all of those weights covered in your friendships? And if you don't, how are you trying to solve and actively find them? I think that's a really good one. I think that's a good way about a new way to think about connecting with the right people and making friends. It's like, you know, where are those moments where you don't have someone that you can go to when you are in grief or you are in joy or you are in sadness or you are in procrastination? Like who's that person who's the person who's gonna get your ass off the couch? So I feel like that's a really good one. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
You have 9 minutes.
I got 9 minutes. Okay, how about this one then?
Believe it or not, right now, I right now take to choreograph one more piece, like one more dance. And as animated as I am, I would say probably it's act in a play that is like as an adult, like do theater as an adult. Mm-hmm. And then of course go over like go whether it's London, Paris, or but go over there. Like just go to Europe.
I'll go to Europe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would have to say that's tricky. Like travel is on my bucket list 100%.
I would but for me, it's like just go to Europe. I don't need to like. I don't want to. I don't have like. I have no desire to go to China. I have no desire to go to like that because like it's it scares the crap out of me because of what they do and how they live and the socialism and like if I make a mistake, it could be the end of my life. Like, I don't know. That's just the scary thing about some of the civilization as a Black gay person. Nope.
Oh, I guess so.
No. I'd rather stay out of situations that could turn or be misinterpreted as or anything. I know, and I know myself, and I also know, like, I just know who I am, and I just know that that's just not where that is welcomed or tolerated. So, no.
Fair. I would have to say travel is also on my bucket list. Travel and I really want to, like my dad did Half Dome. He climbed Half Dome when he was in his college years, and I definitely want to climb Half Dome. That's on my bucket list. Oh man, I don't know what my third thing would be. It's tricky. It would have to be like a large accomplishment though, something like that. Something like have some crazy unique experience. I think that's what all of my bucket list items would be.
For me, mine are like leaving a legacy of some sort, leaving something behind for another to pick up and be puzzled, pushed, or purposeful from. That's it. I feel like we both are in this place of like, we are givers and we like to give back. But now I feel like we're in a place, at least for me, I'm in a place where whatever I'm giving either gives in multiple ways, whether it's through others or dimensionally. And, just like any other thing that I've had, it's like that was that one teacher or that one patient person or that one parental figure or that one friend or that one minute that a friend or place or something gave me a job. It's those things that kind of pushed certain things to kind of move forward. So in my head, that is how I think of how like my bucket list is now more like a bucket network like my bucket leads to other buckets being full and then created, and then those buckets lead to other buckets. Like, I feel like that's what
Cool.
I'm
I like that.
So yeah.
Well, hopefully we're doing that with this.
I hope so, y'all. Tell us in the comments, is your bucket getting filled? Oh, that sounds really gross. That's so nasty. How are your buckets bucketing, guys? Tell us in the comments below. I would be really interested to know. And also, I want people to talk about their emotional anchors of certain parts of their support, of how who and what, where, and why, and do those need change? And then I think the other one that I think is really good is like what you believe in, what you don't believe in anymore. Those are like our 3 pivotals of being like, when was the last time you guys went in your closets and looked at your closets of beliefs and cleared out some shit?
100%. I think those are like the top 3 of the questions today. That was really good.
Yeah.
Well, we would love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments below, and we'll see you on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you guys listen to this. Find us on Facebook and Insta and all the things. Tag us. Anything is cool.
And stay tuned, because I have been reached out by some friends that have seen the show or people that I've introduced you to, and they're like, oh, and I feel like I want to pick some people's brains. So maybe after me and Sierra will talk about me doing some side interviews to this program, and then just making more segments of Still Got Questions, where you can see how we question others and our relationships with other people in our lives.
Sounds so good. That's news to me. Man, let's end there. All right, you guys, have a great day. We shall see you later.
Bye.